Volunteers deliver multi-purpose folding beds to a temporary shelter for flood survivors in Shifang. We visit a shelter farm to learn how mentally challenged individuals are trained to work. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In China, Sichuan province has experienced torrential rain for more than 20 days, leading to floods in many cities. In Shifang City, local government has evacuated residents from the mountainous areas. Considering there were no beds at the shelters, Tzu Chi volunteers delivered 251 Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and 500 blankets to the affected residents.
Volunteers worked as a team to load 251 Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds onto the truck, ready to deliver them to Shifang City before it gets dark.
We are preparing to deliver these Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds to Jiangdizhen and Shifang, so the flood survivors in the temporary shelter can have beds to sleep on.
Sichuan province in China has suffered from torrential rain recently, and many cities were flooded. Shifang city government has evacuated residents on the mountain. However, people can only sleep on the ground at the temporary shelter.
We've
learned that many residents at the shelter are sleeping on the ground, so we prepared Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets for them.
希望灾民能够有一个比较安稳、可以安心的地方。
慈济基金会从开会决策
Tzu Chi Foundation has completed all the work, including conducting meetings, loading the supplies, and transporting it to the shelter. In just half a day, both of the government officials and civilians in Shifang City were impressed by their efficiency.
十方的干部群众留下了深刻的印象。
Volunteers unload the beds and blankets as soon as the truck arrives at the shelter. Many residents also help out.
We're deeply thankful to Tzu Chi for delivering beds and blankets and also showing care to us in times of disaster.
Many residents had a hard time sleeping because the ground was too wet. Now that we have beds here, they're willing to stay at the shelter because it's much safer here compared to the mountain.
Now the residents can sleep more soundly with the Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets and feel safer in the rainy season.
This summer, Tzu Chi volunteers in China have already begun their preliminary visits in different provinces for the upcoming winter aid distributions. 150 volunteers went to Ezhou in Hubei province to visit more than 200 impoverished families.
As the road begins to get rough, volunteers get off the bus to walk to the venue. Today they are hosting the winter aid distribution orientation for the government officials of Ezhou City in Hubei province. After communicating with the government personnel, volunteers divided into 30 teams to visit 200 impoverished families across 5 villages. The lotuses are blossoming, but it cannot heal the sorrow of some of the villagers. Tzu Chi, whose wife died of leukemia, had to leave his son and elderly mother at home to work in another city. The villager welcomes volunteers genuinely. Upon seeing the bed of this grandpa who lives alone is almost broken, volunteers instantly set up a Jingsi multi-purpose folding bed for him. After the entire day's visits, volunteers take time to share their testimonies and despite being exhausted.
As a Tzu Chi volunteer, I always remind myself to be mindful when visiting these families so that they won't feel like they are being investigated. Instead, we should listen to their issues and encourage them with a compassionate heart.
The volunteers have made good connections with the villagers, and they will continue to care for them.
Our body is like a small ecosystem in which many bacteria and microorganisms are interdependent. When our immune system is in good shape, there's a balance that is maintained. However, when the immunity is low, there may be health issues. On our faces, almost everyone can find a parasite called Demodex. When our immune system is poor and natural oils are not balanced, the parasite will attack our skin and hair follicles, causing a health hazard.
Under a microscope magnified 20 times, there is a colorless and transparent microscopic Demodex mite. It may scare you, but these actually grow on the surface of the human skin.
The size is only about 0.1 millimeters long. It likes places where our human hair grows, like hair follicles, where the sebum is thick. In fact, for normal people, every square centimeter, there are over 5 or even up to 20 of them on you at any given time. This may already cause some visible symptoms.
Redness, pus-filled bumps forming on the face is commonly known as rosacea. In addition to the skin being irritated by the environment, it may also be a parasite at large. Studies have shown that almost all individuals have this type of parasite on our skins, but not everyone will present symptoms.
There are many triggers that will irritate the skin and result in our oil glands to over-secrete. Rosacea triggers include heat, stress, some exposure, hot or spicy foods, sweets, and alcohol consumption. These factors give the parasites an ideal environment to rapidly grow.
Other than effects on the skin, in recent years, there has also been findings of cases presented in the eyelash follicles. When the body's immune system is low, the parasite can quickly multiply in numbers and start to invade any hair follicles, causing sticky dandruff-like secretions. If not properly treated, it will cause serious damages to the eyes.
After a while, the hair follicles will be blocked, leading to our cranial gland to be infected. If left untreated, this gland may no longer secrete oil or even shrink as a whole. This would turn into a more permanent dry eye disorder.
When parasites penetrate the dermis, causing rosacea, it can be treated with antibiotics and insecticide cream. When it involves the eyelash follicles, it's recommended to use natural tea tree oil to clean.
If you are solely taking medication for the eye infection, it's not enough to get rid of the whole problem. Doctors in Australia found out that tea tree oil with the right amount of dosage is actually the best method in combating these parasitic infections.
Demodex mites and humans can live peacefully together. If no symptoms occur and one still overcleans, this will actually lead to an imbalance of human ecology. So doctors suggest that to increase immunity, one needs to have a balanced diet and a healthy lifestyle.
A 91-year-old grandma in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, has been bedridden for a long time, causing her to have multiple bed sores. After she was released from the hospital, Tzu Chi volunteers from the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter found an air cushion bed for her. Team of volunteers also took turns attending to her bed sores.
The 91-year-old grandma has been bedridden for an extended period, and her bed sores have worsened to a degree that she must be treated in a hospital. After the hospital released the grandma, Tzu Chi volunteers brought her an air cushion bed with massage functions to ease her bed sores. Team of volunteers also come to clean her wounds regularly and teach her family how to take correct care of her.
这里要放个枕头，你这样子啊，阿妈哦，这样子拿枕头，敲着她。她的儿子也蛮用心的，一直来都有很照顾她，只是可能在。
Her son is putting lots of effort to take care of her. However, he's not quite familiar with treating the wounds. Some of her wounds on the back are much deeper than surface wounds, which is why it continues to grow. It'll take a long time to treat, but it could get better if handled carefully.
要蛮长的时间了，但是要用心处理是应该可以复原啊。咁啊要下個手。
On top of the medical assistance, volunteers also provide other daily supplies to the family, hoping this grandma can quickly recover with their love and care.
72-year-old Soling Fen is from Penang, Malaysia, and he lives alone now. In the past, he was active in Tzu Chi activities. However, he started to lose confidence because he experienced a low period in his life. Thankfully, with the encouragement of the Tzu Chi family, he has become the most energetic helper at the recycling station.
Riding a motorcycle to pick up his friend and going to do recycling together. This is the daily routine of 72-year-old So Lian Pong.
Most of the time, he brings me to the recycling station.
He and I are inseparable partners, not only at the recycling station, but also in our group.
Mr. So had been active in Tzu Chi activities for more than 20 years. After his wife passed away due to cancer in 2005, things changed as he started to live alone and he had mobility issues.
I'm a bit ambitious of those Tzu Chi volunteers who can conduct international disaster relief work. Now I'm not able to do that.
Back then, I found that he shut himself off and did not open up his heart. He didn't like to smile and talk, so I encouraged him to come regularly to the recycling station. Day by day, he finally opened up his heart to others, as he no longer sits alone in the corner. Now he interacts and communicates well with other Tzu Chi volunteers.
So Lian Peng is now part of the team of the recycling station. He is actively promoting environmental protection.
It's very important to educate people about environmental protection. If everyone receives a good education, they will not throw away garbage.
With the company of his Tzu Chi families, Mr. So has opened up his heart to others and become more energetic in his later years.
Every July, newly graduated young adults get ready to enter the workforce. This transition is more difficult for those who are physically or mentally challenged. For this reason, many social welfare groups have set up special workshops for them to learn job skills to help them be self-sustainable.
以后老了，我哥哥要照顾我，可是哥哥不知道会不会照顾我，可以做起来啊，自己养活自己呀。
Hello, my name is Brother Chang. We're at a red quinoa farm.
While he may speak with a stutter, Ah Chang takes his job very seriously and carefully introduced all the Taiwan red quinoa which they sell.
这个是怎么泡？就直接泡就好了吗？对，能泡都可以泡。
This is the Liangxing farm in Yunling's Doulil. It was established in January of this year, taking on 5 individuals to raise Taiwanese red quinoa.
剪顶部一点，才不会有很多小小的小叶子掉下来。
These mentally challenged young people may be slower than average workers, which is a big challenge to the manager of the farm, Cai Yaxuan.
Their physical abilities are a little bit worse than others, and it is harder for them to understand the instructions, so we slow it down a bit for them. We give these children time to follow and adapt to this work environment.
为什么不能折叠在一起？可以这样吗？
不可以，会发霉。
对。
To survive, the farm has to diversify its offerings, as it also raises chickens and sells eggs.
Taiwan currently has nearly 140 shelter workshops involving more than 1,900 people, but more than half are in northern and central Taiwan, as it is quite difficult to operate these businesses in the south and other central areas.
哥哥，我们好久没来，对不对？哎，你还记得之前你在哪里卖东西吗？对呀。
To support the physically and mentally challenged, in April 2017, this shop was opened in Hubei to sell organic products. Ah Chang was in charge of the shop, but poor sales over the next 5 months led them to close up.
Our sales weren't able to meet the salary we were paying to Brother Chang, so in the end we decided to close up shop.
Bringing Ah Chang back to this 9-square-meter shop leads to many memories. The place is now a warehouse, though the sign has yet to be taken down.
This path may be very difficult, but I still want to help these disabled young people, students, find a place to work. It may be very hard to do, but I still won't give up.
Ms. Zhong says there are not enough options available to these young people. And though it is difficult for them to find their way in life, as long as they move forward and go out, there is always hope.
People with autism spectrum disorder have many difficulties in communicating with the outside world. In Zhanghuan, Autism Canon Parent Association opened a CK Bakery in 2010 to give individuals with autism a place to learn how to bake. This bakery teaches everything from kneading dough to operating ovens.
包奶酥抓好以后，转过来，好了，包好了。我在这边工作。
你喜欢做什么面包？
做奶酥面包。
In this bakery, freshly baked bread has a wonderful scent. 30-year-old Yu Ren is moderately autistic, though she feels very comfortable in this bakery.
She has improved her language ability and is now better able to interact with us. In the past, we had to guess what she was saying, as she now has more confidence with speaking.
饼干、手工饼、凤梨酥。今天有电视台采访。
35-year-old Xuan Hong is another employee in the bakery. He also has moderate autism, but his emotional problems are more serious. At the moment, he is now only responsible for packaging work.
His emotions are occasionally like this, as he will suddenly shout or jump up.
They may be affected by something small that we may not be aware of, which can suddenly affect their mood.
Some 80% of those with autistic spectrum disorder may suffer from mental disabilities and may have difficulty interacting with others. Being shut off from others can lead their condition to degenerate.
Previously, when she stayed at home, her emotions were more unstable. She was usually quiet and didn't want to go out.
8 years ago, a group of parents with autism spectrum disorder children established a CK Bakery to allow children to learn through real-life interaction in a group setting to improve their ability to work.
We hope that some youth who can work, we don't want them to be abandoned by society. As for our work environment, we're limited by space as we can only recruit 18 students.
Currently, the bakery has 18 employees who have been learning everything about this bakery. Some are even mastering difficult tasks such as operating the oven by themselves. They all hope to earn a little more income, as well as help these youth become more independent and integrated into society.
To thank the breakfast shop owner near their school, 5 students from Shude University in Kaohsiung decided to give the shop a makeover. They spent a week painting the walls and improving the overall appearance.
Helping to remove rust on the sheet metal and paint the red, these 5 college students are from the Departments of Interior Design of the Shude University. Putting what they have learned to good use, the students have turned the breakfast shop into a Japanese restaurant because this place has special significance for them.
It's like a home away from home. She is like a second mother to us.
It makes me feel very warm because the shop owner takes good care of us. It's like as if I'm home again.
The mother that the students are referring to is the breakfast shop owner. She always does her best to ensure that all the students does not go hungry.
I have 4 daughters, and 2 of them are attending college, so I know how much effort a parent has to put in to reach each child.
These children always keep the shop owner's kindness in mind.
I think when students implement what they have learned in the classroom into the real world, it's a really great learning experience for them.
I feel the difference. The environment has been improved.
Reciprocating the love they have received from the shop owner, the students are motivated to safeguard the breakfast shop's love and warmth.
To celebrate the 72nd anniversary of the police force in Indonesia, a local police hospital in Batam collaborated with Tzu Chi to hold a free clinic. Tima's medical professionals and volunteers from Jakarta also joined in to serve the local residents.
Many here delay seek medical attention for their eyes because of financial problems. The local police medical and health department, as well as the task force in Rio, joined hands with Tima to hold a free clinic.
We collaborate with Tzu Chi to hold a free clinic because Tzu Chi has much experience in medical services, especially free clinics. Tzu Chi and the police force have formed a good affinity with each other for many years.
Giving her almost to provide the best medical service, this Tima volunteer, who was in charge of the free clinic for the first time, was grateful for the support from Jakarta.
This time, we also mobilized team members from Jakarta. We all worked together to make the free clinic a success. Since this was the first time we collaborated with each other, there must be shortcomings that needed improvement.
This 65-year-old woman who used to tutor the Quran had to sacrifice reading due to cataract.
I can follow the convention and pray 5 times a day, but I'm not able to read the Quran. Not just the Quran, there's no way for me to read other books.
For more than a year, her condition has gradually deteriorated. She even dares not to hold a grandson in her arms.
I hope I can regain my health so that I can move about normally like ordinary people and hold my grandson in my arms.
After receiving the surgery, 55 patients who had eye diseases can now live a happy life without worry.
To help students stay away from drugs, Tzu Chi University has been promoting the anti-drug awareness campaign in schools since 2009. They even use summer vacations to promote the concept through camp activities. This year, they held 7 camps, along with parent-child activities.
To promote anti-drug awareness, Tzu Chi University organized a camp during the summer vacation, inviting education officials and legal representatives to show determination and a united front in opposing drugs.
Through a course like this, our children will be able to have a deeper understanding of the community. In the meantime, this course also takes aim at emerging issues such as drugs. This allows our children to learn more about drugs and understand the negative impacts they may have on their health and lives. This education will help them refuse drugs.
The team of Tzu Chi University not only spent money but also contributed their efforts. They started to promote anti-drug awareness since 2009. We believe that through such long-term cultivation, we must be able to carry out these anti-drug concepts in our communities and families.
During summer vacation, children usually have many opportunities to contact with the outside world. As for how to refuse temptation, volunteers use dramas and games to educate children about drug abuse.
This camp is very interesting because I can learn a lot of knowledge. We should not take drugs because it's bad for our health.
I believe that this training camp will help plant seeds of love for children. They will have some anti-drug concept formed in their lives and learning. In the future, they will definitely take some actions to promote this idea at appropriate opportunities.
After participating in the camp with their teachers and parents, the children understand the dangers of drugs addiction and will refuse to take drugs.
In New Taipei City, Tzu Chi University and Tzu Chi Teachers Association held a summer camp attended by more than 100 children. In the camp, participants learned about food safety and ways to stay away from drugs. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.